You ever meet someone who slowly makes you feel smaller without ever raising their voice? Not yelling, not fighting, just reminding you over and over that you're beneath them. I didn't just end that friendship. I made sure he would never forget me again. And even now, years later, I still don't know if I won or completely destroyed both of us.
You ever meet someone who slowly makes you feel smaller if you've ever been underestimated, talked down to, or made to feel powerless by someone you trusted, hit that like button, subscribe, and settle in. Because today's story isn't just revenge, it's about what happens when hurt turns into obsession, and justice starts to look a lot like destruction. I'm 25 now. This happened years ago, back when I was a freshman in high school. He was a senior. At first, nothing about our friendship felt strange. He was funny, confident, older, the kind of person younger students naturally gravitated toward. And when someone older chooses you to talk to, laugh with, confide in, it feels special. We talked constantly. Late-night messages, random conversations about life, music, identity, the future. I genuinely believed he was my friend, maybe even my mentor. But slowly, something shifted.
He started bringing up our age difference. At first, it sounded harmless. I'm an adult. You're still a kid. He'd laugh when he said it. I laughed too. But then it kept happening. Every conversation, every disagreement, every opinion I had. If I disagreed, no matter what I said, I'd already lost the argument simply by being younger. I started rehearsing conversations in my head before texting him, walking on eggshells, waiting for the next reminder that I wasn't his equal. One day, I finally snapped. I told him straight, stop bringing up our ages. It's condescending. It makes me not want to talk to you. I expected maybe an apology, maybe confusion. Instead, well, you're younger. You'll understand when you grow up. If I got emotional, this is why adults don't act like that. It wasn't screaming. It wasn't insults. It was worse. It made me feel small. He doubled down. He said I was disrespectful, that I had anger issues, that I said psychotic things, that I'd keep losing people if I didn't change. Suddenly, I was the problem. My feelings became proof of my immaturity. And the worst part? Another friend sided with him, told me to calm down, told me I was overreacting. In one conversation, I went from having friends to feeling completely alone. So I disappeared. Months of silence. On his 21st birthday, I reached out. I told myself I wanted closure. I apologized first, wished him happy birthday. I hoped maybe time had softened things. He said he never meant to diminish me. But then he added, I'll always be ahead of you. We're just not equals. That sentence hit harder than every argument before it, because it confirmed what I'd secretly feared. He didn't see me as a friend. He saw me as someone beneath him. Something inside me shut off right there. I told him to leave me alone. And for the first time, I meant it. Here's the part where things stopped being healthy. Because walking away didn't feel satisfying. Cutting him off felt unfinished. I didn't want distance. I wanted balance. I wanted him to feel what I felt. Powerless, humiliated, small. And that's when anger turned into planning. Not overnight. Slowly. Quietly. The idea formed.
If words couldn't hurt him, maybe consequences could.
I created a fake online account. Fake name, fake age, fake identity. I messaged him anonymously. At first, it felt surreal, like watching someone from behind glass. He didn't recognize me. We talked, flirted. Eventually, things crossed into explicit territory. And in that moment, I realized how much power I suddenly held. I began collecting messages, screenshots, old conversations, pieces of context twisted into something darker. I convinced myself I wasn't lying. I told myself I was exposing who he really was. But if I'm honest, I wasn't seeking justice. I wanted revenge. What started as anger turned into momentum. Once things moved forward, they couldn't stop. Authorities became involved, stories were shaped, narratives solidified. My mother learned what was happening and was furious. But by then, everything was already in motion. And once a machine like that starts moving, it doesn't slow down. It consumes. Legal battles followed, investigations, accusations, and eventually, a verdict. He lost everything. His scholarship, his job, friends distanced themselves. Family relationships fractured. Even people who once defended him stepped away. Whether appeals happen or not, his name will always carry suspicion. And me? I got what I thought I wanted. Validation, closure, a sense of victory. For a while, it felt incredible, like justice had finally balanced the scales. But revenge doesn't end when the other person falls. It stays with you. Friends later asked me, why didn't you just cut him off? And I remember thinking, because walking away felt too easy. I didn't want him to recover. I didn't want him to forget me. I wanted permanence. I wanted a consequence that lasted longer than my pain. And for a long time, I convinced myself I'd won. Here's the truth no revenge story tells you. Winning doesn't always feel like relief. Sometimes it feels quiet, heavy, complicated. Because once the anger fades, you're left asking uncomfortable questions. Did I reclaim power? Or did I become someone shaped entirely by hurt? I still remember the good parts of our friendship, and that's what makes it confusing. Because revenge doesn't erase memories. It just rewrites how you live with them. The real climax wasn't the verdict. It wasn't the fallout. It was realizing that the moment I stopped feeling small was also the moment I crossed a line I could never uncross. He'll remember me forever, but I'll also remember who I became to make that happen. And sometimes that realization hits harder than anything he ever said to me. People talk about karma like it's clean and poetic, but real-life revenge is messy. Pain creates pain. And sometimes the biggest question isn't whether justice was served. It's whether peace was ever possible in the first place. If this story made you think or gave you chills, hit that like button and tell me in the comments, was this justice or revenge taken too far? Your opinion might surprise you. And if you want more intense Reddit confessions and revenge stories every week, don't forget to subscribe, because the next story might change how you see revenge.